All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen. I'm chuckling because Murphy Murphy has visited us, or Murphy has visited Jane down there in South Carolina, and we are in the process now. Listen, we are live, and you get to see uh, what's going on my end, and you'll probably be able to hear Jane out there. But we wanted to start the show, and there's Cassandra. Oh, Cassandra is so faithful. I mean, she is just always supportive, so supportive. Hi, Cassandra. It's good to have you. Uh,
Hi, Cassandra.
Jane said, "Hi, Cassandra." She got some technical difficulties, and it's never happened before. But then again, Murphy's law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Cassandra said hi, Jane.
Bless your heart, Cassandra.
uh, my goodness. Here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to put our old buddy to work real quick. He only works 30 seconds a show. Uh, but we're going to bring Dude on. And Jane, when we get you lit up and in the studio, uh, I'll show you what Dude looks like. Or you can probably see, right? Didn't you say you can see us?
Yeah.
Okay. Here comes Dude. That was Dude. Uh,
Awesome.
he only works 30 seconds a show, but but he earns his keep here at the Funny Farm. Okay,
Well,
I see the little box down there in the lobby. It says device is not connected. Uh, I will put this up.
what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to unplug this Logitech and see if it just won't pick up. Try restarting your browser. Do not tell me that.
Someday, Jane, I'm going to do a whole show on all my bloops and
This would be a good one.
all my bloops and all my blops over the years that I've done on radio, and since we started live stream.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that ought to be quite interesting. Because listen,
I'm try to enter in the studio again, but I still can't.
Yeah, now we got two of your boxes up.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Well, at least you can hear me.
Yeah. I could.
Unplug my little camera.
Yeah. Can you perhaps use your camera on your computer, just the regular camera?
Yeah, that's what I just did. You need to connect your mini cam if you want to be added to the stream. All right. Going back to connected. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, you are watching live.
You are watching live technical difficulties.
Yes, as we are. When you hear somebody say we are having technical difficulties beyond our control, you're getting to see it. You're absolutely getting to see it. Jane, not to worry. Listen, if anybody can blow anything up, push wrong buttons, go the opposite direction from what you're supposed to be going, it's Espenlaub.
Well, my dear, I am so sorry. I checked all of this out on my little Zoom. All was well. and I don't get it.
Do you by chance? Well, I guess so because I'm talking to you on the telephone. Try your telephone, Jane.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to mute it?
No, no. Those two little boxes we got here in the studio.
Uh-huh.
Step completely out of the studio with your computer.
And, so leave the studio.
Yeah, and then come back in with your telephone. If you need the link to get in, I'll send it to you by way of messenger.
Yeah, that can work.
Okay.
Let me do that.
Okay. I'm gonna send you the link unless you got it on your email, right?
Yeah, I've got it on my email. I'll just try that.
Okay, so get rid of these two boxes down here. Leave the studio twice. One person leaving the building twice. That's pretty cool.
Okay, here we go.
There's one.
Okay.
Now, leave the studio with the other one.
All right. Is that way down at the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Minimize it. Okay.
Here,
I'll try it on my phone.
I'll kick you from the studio on this.
Okay.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we both apologize. Jane and I both. Listen, we're going to have a fantastic show. We'll bring her back on. She can use her phone, as many people do when we do live streaming, and we'll be good to go. Listen, if it can happen, if anything bad can happen, that's Murphy's law. It will happen, and tonight it has happened. But hang in there with us. Hang in there with us. Let me say hello to Cassandra again. Hi, Cassandra. We're going to get this thing right. We will not be defeated. We will not. Now, listen, to you that are watching, come on in. Come on in. I guess you have to do something to come on in, but I've never been on that end. But come on in, leave your comments, ask questions. If Jane can get her telephone up and running, we will we'll be good to go. And because listen, this lady is simply delightful. She will make you laugh. She knows what she's talking about. She's been doing this thing for quite some time. So come on in. Don't be afraid. I get scared in here all by myself. I don't like to be in here by myself. I like to have other people. Is Mrs. Espinlab watching by any chance? Or is she occupied with something else? She's usually somewhere around the broadcast. If she's listening, come on in here with us, Mrs. Espinlab, my bride of 51 years. While we're waiting for Jane to get hooked up here, let me share this with you. Monday night, we are going to have Ivor Davis with us. If you watched any of the other broadcasts, I think there she is. Oh, dude, we don't want you. I hit the wrong button. Let's bring her up here. Hi, Jane.
Hey. Now let me go to the next door restaurant and get a pina colada.
All righty. Whatever you might need. Hot diggity dog.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Can I turn this sideways or that's not going to work? Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Is it working?
Yeah.
I want you to see my outfit.
All righty.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
I could hear you just fine. what,
Good.
what's the lady said? You be blinging, or is that how they say it nowadays? Or uh,
Yeah, that's the
I'm
truth.
I'm just repeating what I hear the ladies around here says. Cassandra said, "There's Jane. There she is."
God bless you, Cassandra.
Ah, listen, that was it was probably nerve wracking on your end, uh, but yet at the same time, I, I like real stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, it got real.
It got it got real. I like to make fun of myself, and I know you are a lady of humor, uh, and we can poke fun at just about anything we do in life. I know I'm always poking fun at Espinlab because he can really pull some doozies. But you're here, you're here, and we are so glad that you're here. Oh my goodness gracious!
Thank you.
We've got some banners that we'll put up, such things like one website that you have, and then
Mm.
we will put up your YouTube channel, so people can go there. What else I got here? I know I got something else. What else I got here? Uh, what's this down here? Oh, that's YouTube. Okay, that's your website, and then of course we have your books. Uh, and
Yeah, those are the books.
Yep. And as we go along, we'll get you to explain where people can get those books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then we have something like this scrolling across the bottom where people can get a hold of you, uh, with all those good things. And then we've got this running. That's where they can get your books, I suppose, right?
Yeah, that's so nice.
Isn't
Thank
that
you,
cool?
George. Yeah, I can see it now. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So let me shut this down for a second. If I put the right button. There we go. So, Jane, now that you're finally
Yes.
here, tell us, tell us where you came from and what you did when you was a youngster, and then as you progressed and moved up.
I'm from Johns Island, which is south of Charleston, and my daddy was a tomato farmer. So I spent a lot of time walking through the soybean and tomato rows with my Labrador retriever, having a ball, and dreaming big, just thinking as I could do. I had a steep imagination. So that just has served me well. Not a student. I struggled in elementary school. My parents actually put me in the very lowest of the sections. But God is good. And my dreams started unfolding because I just refused to give up. And I just decided to try to embrace all the qualities that successful people embrace. And you challenge yourself. You live a good, clean life. I call it, George, doing the hokey pokey. Because if you put your right foot in, which is doing the right thing, and you shake off the stuff that's going to pull you down and you turn it around, you can learn great lessons. And then, of course, the humor is huge. You have to be able to laugh at you.
Right.
So that's kind of how my philosophy is. I have heard the word no all my life. And I decided, you know what? Why not make no next? And why not bitter? Because when you have that I in the word bitter, it's just all about you. So that was kind of a benchmark for me. And I had good parents. That doesn't mean they were perfect, but they did the best they could with the knowledge they had. We've had family issues. My brother struggles with drug addiction to this day. Sad. but you can choose your choices, but you can't choose your consequences. So my tagline is sweet tea wisdom and southern fried humor. So when I speak to people, I love the laughter, but I feel like I'm cheating people if I don't give them some kind of takeaway to be a little bit better than they were, maybe read my book or before they heard me speak somewhere.
So,
That's it in a nutshell.
so you you ran between the potato rows and the tomato rows, and uh, and had yourself a ball. What?
I did. And then I went through the Miss America system, which was a great learning opportunity for me. I mean, it was a game changer, because Miss America challenges you to be physically fit, which is, it challenges you to communicate extremely well and to have a sense of style, which used to be called evening gown, develop your talent. And really, if you think about it, George, those are the four things that make people successful, all four of those things. So that program, and sadly, it's really gone to the wayside, uh, taught all that. And it's helped a lot of women be better and strive for the best. I tell everybody, Miss America, the whole experience was everything I thought I could become, but I wasn't.
Mm.
But I knew I could become. So that's a huge perk to know.
That's the key phrase. Know
Right.
you can become. I put the
And don't give up.
right. I put the clip up of uh, on our show page. It was like 9 minutes. I think I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Uh, and it had different phases, different things that you were saying. One of the things that struck me, or was I found quite interesting, was uh, you said you wasn't the best student.
Hmm.
You had these dreams, and you wanted to go to college,
I
but you
did.
but nobody was really reaching out and saying, Jane, come to our school or anything like that, right?
No. Well, I'll have to give a little shout out to Clemson. Of course, they're playing for the national championship on Monday night. But because my family all were involved in agriculture, that was one place I really wanted to go. But that was way too big for, well, they didn't accept me. Let's get back to basics here. So I couldn't have gone. But one little small Methodist women's college did. And that was a beautiful experience for me because I learned leadership and I excelled there. And I'm so proud. And when I look back, and so, I feel so blessed that experience came into my life. And I did well there. I learned more about learning because I was diagnosed as being dyslexic. I got a little tape player, George, and I put it on the front row of the class. And I'm an audio learner. I didn't know anything about learning disabilities, but I had that little cassette and I would listen to it over and over again. And that's how I learned. And so all of these things that, like my good friend Willie Jolly, who's a wonderful speaker, says that a setback is actually a setup for a comeback. So those setbacks can be comebacks if we look at it like that.
I was impressed when you said uh, they wanted to interview you, uh, the school. They wanted to interview you, and you wanted them to know what was inside of you. I guess I'm paraphrasing if I'm making any sense at all. Uh,
That's perfect. That's exactly what I said.
what? And you,
You don't know what's inside of somebody. You do not know that sheer willpower to make it work. Nobody sees that. And sometimes your inside has to catch up with your outside.
mm, mm.
So it has to catch up, but you just keep still striving for excellence.
When they interviewed you, uh, from what I gathered in that little clip, uh, you must have really stirred, upset, turned upside down, impressed, one or all those things, the person that was interviewing you.
Oh, I felt sorry for him after I got through with him. I let him have it in a nice way. I told somebody, I said, by the time I got through with him, he was somewhere in the fiber of the carpet.
But
Yes.
this was this was a do or die situation for you, right? So
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just throw it all out there and go for it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my daddy went to the 10th grade. That was it. And my brother went to college for 6 weeks, and you would have thought he went to Harvard and graduated with honors. He would just, yay, And so I was so proud. And then I was scared to death because I thought, can I do this? But, God was good. I'm telling you, I just felt like I had just the courage. And sometimes you do it afraid. One of my favorite people to listen to is Joyce Meyer. And she always says, do it afraid, man, do it afraid. Every great thing accomplished is done not in fear. Fear can paralyze you,
Oh yeah.
but do it afraid. Why not? So don't let things like that bother you. I mean, today I had to be brave, in my opinion. I was at a studio in Greenville. I'm a singer, and I had to pantomime 2 of my songs and read from my book and get videotaped. And, that was different for me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it, whatever. And that's kind of what you have to tell yourself. Just do it.
How many? Of course, we have no idea knowing, Jane, but there are countless, probably countless millions of people that don't take that step to go toward their dream because of fear. And like you said, it paralyzes you. Do you agree with that?
Completely. It is no telling the greatness that is not discovered because the fear wins
Oh,
on
you're
the
right.
cusp of the greatness happening. I mean, I'm sitting right here in my husband's, he's with New York Life, our daughter. Her desk is right in front of me. And I can tell you that she has had to fight the fear of being so young and entering into this financial services business. And right before you and I went on or off or whatever we did, George, she called me and said, Mama, I won 2 awards today. And I kept telling her, Caroline, just stick to it. Just keep working. And I can tell it's weird how this works. How when you get these small victories, they start adding up and it changes your entire view. I was listening to her the other day, and she's so confident in what she's doing now. And because she cares about people, about people wanting them to make good decisions financially. And it comes through. But now she's had success, and that just adds to her arsenal to be passionate about it.
That phrase that you said, there are so many people that don't discover, let's call it, their greatness. I I look. I've got 11 grandkids. The oldest is going to be 30 in March. The youngest is 5. So I've got this whole long range of boys and girls. But I watch young people. I talk to a lot of young people. And I listen to a lot of young people. And I think they don't know their potential. I'll ask them, what's your goal? What's your passion? What's your heartbeat? What is it that you want to reach out and get a hold of? Unfortunately, I hear too many things like, "Oh, nothing." Uh, that
Mm-hmm.
makes me sad. Uh, or are you interested in this? Nah. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
No. Uh, when you said that there's so many people that they won't step out because of fear, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't find the road to greatness, to whatever they want to achieve. Uh, I started thinking about all the young people and older folks. I wonder, and we've all heard it, Jane. I don't want to be sitting in my rocking chair, rocking back
Mm-hmm.
and forth, saying, "Oh, I wished I would have done this, or I wished I would have done this." When you are on your speaking tours, you come across people from all walks of life and all ages, right?
Right.
And you probably run across people by the multitude that have always wanted to do, have always wanted to take that step, but because of that, those, and these, they didn't. What's some of the things that you encounter when you're speaking?
So many people say to me that, oh my gosh, I'm going to write that book now. I'm going to do it. Or I love to tell, sometimes I say this, tell the story about my Aunt Naomi Herlong, that who would think that baking a caramel cake could get you anywhere in life? And I really need to write about this in my book. I'm so glad you mentioned that because she could make a fabulous cake. And she entered, this was a long time ago, she entered the Grange contest, the old country farm Grange. And she won. She won a prize. She won a building. And to this day, that little Grange building that was built and given to our little Harmony community, 5 minutes from where I'm sitting, is our church fellowship hall. So don't think any talent could not be used for good. Even baking a cake got us a fellowship hall. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is cool. How many
Yeah.
how many times do you hear people, like you just said, "I'm going to write that book," or "I'm going to do this," or "I'm going to do that"? What is the advice that you?
You know, that's a good question. I get it a lot. Every time I speak, somebody says, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to let something hold me back, or somebody tell me, oh, you aren't good. And I'm not going to listen to that. So I hear it, and I just wonder how many people are thinking it and do it. But the first step of accomplishing a goal is to say it. You got to say it
Right.
and be accountable that you actually going to do this and have an accountability partner. So thinking it's one thing, saying it's another. If you really want to get it done, you have an accountability partner that says, how you coming with that project?
Uh-huh.
But I do hear it a lot, but I don't know how many people actually go through it. I do have a friend that when I was speaking at a Christian writers conference, and she has written 2 books, and um, she gives me a lot of credit, bless her heart, for getting her off the I want to I did. And so you never know how many people actually accomplished. I hope take advantage of just thinking and moving. I hope so.
There's my good friend Derek Davis out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He said, "Just do it." Heard. So
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, when I was reading, my wife and I was talking about this afternoon, and I was reading. And it's been a long time ago. I read something along these lines. A man wrote his manuscript, and he put it in his drawer, and he had planned on getting it published. And then he had life, this, that, those, and these, but the manuscript still stayed inside the desk drawer. And he would say so many times,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm going to get that manuscript." One day, the man passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and inside that desk drawer, his wife found the manuscript. And it went along the lines that she said, if he would have only done what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it, this would have been done. I thought that's a lesson for all of us, isn't it?
Completely. Completely. Well, one of the greatest pieces of work, and I hate that it's been very tainted, and I guess it's just the times we live in, but it's Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind.
Hmm.
It was discovered in her desk drawer after she passed away, and it became, a classic. And so, same kind of situation. Get the thing out of the desk, get it from your head to the paper, because George, there will come a time And we don't know what our timeline is. The Bible tells us it's appointed once under man to be born and once to die.
Right.
We don't know what our expiration date is. So you better take advantage of every day. So funny, I have a friend that called me, I swear I'm dead. I said, what you talking about? She said, I woke up, I didn't hurt. Nothing hurt. I think I'm dead. I said, all right, whatever. But the older I get, the more there's some truth in that, let me tell you.
I like what you said, Jay.
So,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, a lot of times people talk about time management, but my good friend, Dr. Nito Kubain, who's president of High Point University, it's energy management, man. It's energy management because our energy levels can get so low and not what they use.
You said that it's not enough to think it. We have to speak it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I agree 100% with that, because when you tell someone that you're going to do such and such a thing, or I'm going to start that such and such project, they hear it with their ears. And like you said, they can come back and say, well, how are you doing with that? How you doing? Do you think a lot of people, and I'm sure they are, they think, but they're so afraid to speak it?
Completely. Yeah. And they're just robbing themselves of their talents. And I'll tell you another thing, talent begets talent. When you start working on something, one thing, I mean, when I started out, I was, sang in churches, recorded ready for this, a cassette. And as I would sing in churches, and people would say to me, oh, that was, I like that story. I said, what story? You told a story. And I went, oh. So I thought, my gosh, I'm getting people wanting that on tape. And then people were saying, oh, that was funny, the way you said that. And I went, oh. So talent begets talent. So, the singing led to the speaking, led to the comedy, led to the parodies, led to Sirius XM, led to the books, And I mean, I got an F in writing in college. And I was asked by my college to speak at convocation. I don't even know what it was. I had to look it up in the dictionary. And right in the middle of the old Methodist church in Columbia was the professor that gave me that big old fat F. And I had the privilege of giving him the book. Oh, thank you, Dr. Broom. And he's a great guy. He challenged me. Now, had I gotten an A, would I have written a book? I don't know. But it was fun to prove people wrong. I'll tell you that. My first little book called Bare Feet to High Heels.
Speaking of books, let's put these up here. There it is.
Yeah, there they are.
Barefoot to High Heels. What is it? What Tata
Yep.
teach us? Teaches
Yeah,
us?
honey, that's women's anatomy, tatas.
Okay.
Let me explain that one. My sister, sorry, George, don't you go blushing on me.
I'm behind the
my sister. Yeah, you're behind I can't see you. But my sister had breast cancer, and she survived it. She had an amazing attitude. And I wrote that, and she did pass away right after my mother died. And that was a book written in her memory, and it's about how our anatomy is used in an analogy. It's pretty clever. I'm not saying so myself. I got a review on Amazon. Somebody said this book is worthless, and then another reviewer said this book is brilliant. And I went, something's wrong with both of y'all, that's for sure. But that was, and I raised money for breast cancer through that. And then the third one is Bury Me With My Pearls, and that's dedicated to my mother. We were very close. But that book led to the big kahuna, Rhinestones on My Flip-Flops, which is Hachette Publishing out of New York, which was a real kick in the pants to be on bookshelves in Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and all over. But on my website, you can purchase those in the Rhinestone book. You can buy it from Walmart, Target. It's been pretty cool to see my book on the shelf. Like, that's my book, pinch.
There is the website making its way across the screen, janeherlong.com/shop. And then you can get it, like she said, here, there, everywhere. Wow. All those books. Go.
Hey, I'm working on a new one. Real, you might not appreciate this, but I tell you what, this is funny. It's called Sweet Tea Secrets from the Deep Fried South. Um, well, you might not like the subtitle. I don't want to offend anybody from the South, but but it's not necessarily, it's just funny. The subtitle is Cutting Through the Cultural Kudzu.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I like that.
Yeah, it's all how we've been rebranded, reprimanded, blah 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 blah, and I get back to the bone marrow of the South,
Right.
and it's funny. It's very funny. It gets funnier every day.
Cassandra said, are these books on Kindle?
Yes, yes, they are. I will tell you, the ones that are on Kindle are Rhinestones and Pearls
Rhinestones and
and Kindle. But you might like Audible because I read it and I like to throw accents around. I copy all my Yankee friends and I do a good job talking Yankee. I can do that. And
Gi-
so I like dialects.
give me a good Yankee sound.
Oh, how are you? I'm from New York.
Okay. All right. Got another one?
Love it living in the middle of the state of South Carolina. And then I speak Gullah. Now, I don't want anybody to think I'm being weird about the dialect, but they teach it at Harvard now. And my daddy had a tractor driver that we loved. His name was Lab, and he was holding our male cat, going all the way to the vet to get neutered. The whole way in the truck, Lab kept stroking that male cat, going, "Great God, Kidney, I'm so glad I ain't you." I've got a ton of Gullah stories, and I love them. And I speak Gullah. I grew up with it, and I respect the folks. My granddaddy spoke it, so it's not a cultural thing. Goompaw's my granddaddy. He spoke it fluently. Said vegetables in his garden, and great God. So it's funny stuff. I'll tell you another funny story. Daddy came in and he said, "Goodness, Lewis put a real cussing on me today." He said, "Mr. Benjamin, you make me so mad when you shut your eye for the last time. I'm going to tell them people to bury you up under 8 feet deep. That way, when Gabriel blow the horn, you be the last one up."
Oh, wow. That when you stop and think about that's bad. I mean, it's good what you said, but I mean, burying him that.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, so he's the last.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
Ain't no 6 feet. It's 8 feet.
Nobody,
8 feet.
nobody
But Gullah, no, nobody wants that. But Gullah is a combination of all dialects coming together with some Sea Island influence. It's basically Creole, and you smash it together. This is what this instructor from Harvard. It was in the Harvard, and I think that's about the coolest I've ever heard. Smashed together. I like that.
Oh my goodness gracious! When we were talking about people might think it, but they won't speak it. We talked about fear. What are some of the other things? Do you think that fear is like the first? How do I want to say it? Do you think that fear is the number one uh, obstruction that most people face?
Oh, I think fear can be debilitating, paralyzing. Zig Ziglar, we all love Zig. He was a member of our association. He said fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence. Boy, that stuck with me. And 90% of all of our fears are totally unfounded.
Absolutely.
So, and fear and faith cannot coexist. It's like oil and water.
Several programs ago, I forget which one it was, but we got in on conversation about something that led to David and Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
The youngster, he was there on an errand from his father, taking stuff to his big brothers there in the Israeli army. And when he got there, they're all laid out, crouched down, hunkered, cowering away because this big galoot out there, he's out there running his face. Uh, they were paralyzed by fear. Uh,
Yeah.
he only wanted one person to come out and whoop him or fight with him, and none of them would go. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that fear. Say what Zig Ziglar said again. I like that.
Yeah, it's false evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real.
Mm-hmm.
My grand.
I love that story about David and Goliath. That's what I love. Bible stories. Of course, Jesus spoke in parables too, and there's a powerful analogies that still today. I'm a storyteller, but the number one storyteller ever was Jesus Christ. He was a great storyteller.
Outside of fear, of course, fear is like the nucleus of the web. Uh, it's the center, and because of
Mm-hmm.
that fear, then everything else is branching off of that. I how
Mm-hmm.
many times do you meet people? You meet people that uh, think it, won't speak it, paralyzed by fear. But then on the other hand, you meet people that said, "Hey, I heard what you said X weeks ago, months ago, even years ago, and I did it." What are some of those success stories?
I started out speaking in schools way back after my year as Miss South Carolina. And my favorite thing to do, I had a program called How to Be a VIP. And I said, you got to have vision, you got to have goals, you got to have initiative, and that's making it happen. And you have to balance it all with a perspective. And I cannot tell you, even to this day, I have people come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, you spoke to my third grade class way back in the mid 90s." And I love that. And I remember grades improved. And so I hear all of this. So hopefully, for whatever story I don't hear, there are lots of stories that I may never know. And if I can just make a difference in someone's life, that means a lot to me. And I've had a lot of people call me and talk with me. And then you can't keep rehearsing the same old thing. It's like the wheel of misfortune. Get off the wheel and do something about it.
Yeah,
Keep blaming your parents. If you're an adult, get over it and get over it fast. You can't keep
right.
blaming this circumstance. And I've heard it said you might have a bad beginning, but you could have a fabulous finish. So after a while, I mean, one of my books addresses this. I call it being a woman of wisdom, a wow woman. Men need to be Mo's, men of wisdom. And there comes a time when you got to step up to the plate and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not going to let this defeat me. I'm going to defeat it, and I'm going to be better. And I wrote a chapter about that the other day in my book. It's a little bit edgy, but and I highlighted women in my flip-flop books. Like look at Esther. She was beautiful, went to a spa for a year, and she stood before the king knowing she could get her head cut off.
Hmm.
But she was brave and bold and beautiful. So I call her fearless and fabulous Esther. Then you have people that make stupid mistakes. Women, they look at Facebook and go, "Oh, I don't have the most perfect family." So like Eve, you're deceived. And then you lose your paradise and you look back and say, dang it, I had paradise, but I messed it up because I wanted more. So a
Hmm.
lot of people get uncomfortable, and it's good to be uncomfortable, but it's not wise to make stupid decisions that can slingshot back and be a consequence that's not good.
Isn't that the truth? What would you tell
Yeah.
people that's got this inferiority complex? I'm not. I wouldn't be good at that, or I couldn't do it like that person does it, or along those lines. What would you tell somebody?
Well, you can't keep comparing yourself to other people. And you have to look deep inside and find something that you do and do well. And I say exploit it and give it back.
Mm.
If you're feeling crappy about you, you know what you can do? Go to a nursing home. Go to a nursing home.
Hmm.
Sit around and talk to a resident don't get out of that pity pit. Pity parties are not fun because only one person is the guest, and that's you. Nobody
Absolutely.
wants to come to your pity party. And so do something for somebody else. Make cookies and go see a shut in. Sit and just do something for somebody else. I had a good friend this just a couple of weeks ago that lost her son to suicide, 19 years old. And he had self-medicated and he went into a psychosis, they think. I couldn't get it off my mind, George. I could not. Thanksgiving and Christmas. And right next door to this building where I am is my good friend jeweler. And I thought, I got to do something. So I had a plaque made with handles. It's really a tray. And I had all these words that were burned in the board with a cross. And it was a paper that this young man had written in college to her. Well, wouldn't you know, it arrived Christmas Eve.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, that adversity turned into an opportunity because she is that kind of person. And now she's got a Facebook page, and we're all writing about one of those words. Mine's gratitude. We are journaling it and sending it to my friend Laura, and she's going to put it in an ebook. You see how she's grieving?
Mhm.
Adversity has become a friend for her because she's externalizing it and helping other people. I've had so many friends like this. A friend who lost her son who had anorexia. She wrote a beautiful book called Dying to Be Perfect. And she's helped so many people not have eating disorders and so many young men. So make a mess in your life a message. That's huge to do that. If you can think like that, you can be such an asset in so many people's lives that you would never know.
Mm. What about what about people that says, and I guess this is part of woe is me. I could never do that. That's kind of a lame excuse, isn't it?
Well, they're correct. They are totally correct. If they think that, they won't.
Yeah.
I tell a funny story about a young man in our Sunday school class, and he was in boot camp at 17, and he said, I'm going to flunk out. I'm going to fail. I'm going to disgrace the family. And he got on his knees and he prayed, and he opened his eyes and he saw his dog tags. He thought it was a message from God. It said, be positive on his dog tags. So he changed. And all of his buddies noticed it. And they said, what happened? He said, God sent me a message. He sent me a miracle sign. They said, what you talking about? He said, look at my dog tags. Be positive. And the guy said, you want to see my message from God? Oh, negative. So, he didn't know it was at all. It was, his blood type. Didn't know. So Zig Ziglar also said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
That's true. That's
You are so right.
oh yes, 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 yes. And we have heard it in our lifetime. I've heard it countless times. The person that fails to try fails, but the person that tries don't fail. He just finds another way to do what he was going to do in the first place. The first thing didn't work. So uh, if we say, well, I'm afraid to do that because I might fail, you already failed, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you keep saying that, you're paralyzed. You're done. Stick it with a fork. That gets me so mad. I can't stand all that. I say, listen, I'm going to talk to the hand. I can't, I mean, either you do it or you don't. And, I mean, people move on to something else. I mean, I'll help somebody and I want them to be better. And you pour all this out. But, the Bible says you dust the sand off your sandals and see you later, alligator. I am not going to stay around and be on that sad story, that sad journey.
That's exactly
It's an
right.
energy vampire, sucks the blood and sucks the energy out of you. No, thank you.
I thought I was one of the few that got upset when I heard people talking like that. We were talking this afternoon.
Oh, I can't.
No, go ahead.
No, I agree.
We were talking this afternoon, and it came upon through my little brain housing group up here. God made us in His likeness, in His image, and I said,
Hmm.
do any of us understand? I mean, the potential. I mean, the real potential that is instilled, built in for us to do great things. Because
I don't think we do.
no,
I don't think we really understand what our potentials are.
and do you agree? We live far below our potentials because we don't know what they really are.
Well, I mean, you look at stories of, I know you've read the same thing about women whose children might be trapped somewhere and they have superhuman strength all of a sudden, and they actually did that. I mean, I've been in situations where something traumatic, or I think a lot of us suffer from PTSD. I do, and we just don't know it, and something triggers it. But we have all of a sudden can't believe that we handled it like that, or it's like God's Novocaine for the moment. We just can't believe it, but we have no idea what our potential is. None.
Great things. Uh, my prayer is, and I'm 71 now, so like you said earlier, none of us knows when our expiration date is. I like that expiration date. Uh, it makes real sense. But
Hmm.
my prayer is, Lord, stir me up inside to a point that nothing can stop me. No
Hmm.
negativity, no naysayers, no doubters, no nothings. Just stir me up, light a fire in me that will just excel and push and propel me forward in such a way that somebody look at him and say, Espinal is just going completely berserk. I mean, he just took a long walk off a short pier. That's my prayer, Jane, that regardless
That's a
of the
good one, George.
obstacle,
That's a really good one.
when I go out, whenever it is, when my expiration date comes up, I want to go out uh, with a flame. I mean, when they see me
Hmm.
go, they'll be like a jet airplane, just uh, yep, there he went. But I went out the way that I wanted to go out because I wanted God to really, you know, the rocket fuel, put the rocket fuel in me so I can go through the stratosphere and all the other things. Uh, if we could just tap into that, the great things that could be done. My oh my.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite groups to speak for are hospital volunteers. I mean, I spoke at a national conference in Kentucky last year, and I'm speaking to another group coming up, and gosh, I've been all over Florida. And those are the most genuine, loving, giving, caring, and they don't put on. They are just totally themselves. And I love that about that crowd, because they've seen it. They see the weeping, they've seen the joy, they've seen the stress, and they have been there, done that. A lot of them are retired, and they're still giving back to their community, and they love it, and it makes them healthy mentally. I call it mental wealth.
Hmm.
We should all strive to be mentally wealthy. If there's something in us that needs fixing, Lord, please show it to me, because I want to get it fixed.
That's right.
And I think that's the journey of life. Fix your flaws.
I was I was talking to someone not too long ago, and I said, this thing called life. If it and on my coffee cup it says I'm not old. I'm chronologically gifted. So I'm chronologically gifted to be here today, tonight. But I said to this individual, just about the time that you start to figure a few things out, you step out. Uh,
Hmm.
wouldn't it be wonderful if we could have got a little bit of this, whatever it is, when we were a whole lot younger? Uh, but that don't negate the fact that I still want that fire. what's gone is gone. Uh, I'm looking forward. So, uh, but I just told that gentleman when we was talking about just about time we think we get it right, we got to step out. We got to leave. The people, uh, and you speak to all kind of groups. You speak to organizations, business people, uh, and you're quite busy, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, today with another speaker, and we were just talking about how noisy it is to pinpoint the audiences that we know we're going to have a super great experience with. And that's the challenge now because it used to be you market, you produce, and you perform. But marketing has become subtitle, subtitle, more subtitle, third subtitle, whether it's social media, whether it's snail mail, whether it's call, whether it's eye contact that I use. People can sign up for my humor newsletter too. If you go to my website, you'll see it all over the website. I like to send something funny out about, or inspirational, mostly funny, about every other week. And so I've got a pretty good mailing list, people that want to be on the mailing list. I don't send it out unsolicited at all. And so these are intentional folks. And so that's been fun, but it's a challenge. I mean, to find those folks that that you can make the meeting planner happy, make the folks happy. And so, yeah, but I speak all over and I have fun with it. I had a pretty good year last year. I'm accruing speaking engagements now, which is good. Got a good call yesterday, got another one today. So it's starting to work, but you get a little anxious sometimes, but it's not about money or anything, George. I'm telling you, it's about, I just have a desire in my heart, and maybe it's because I was a social work major. I just want to see people be mentally wealthy. I mentioned that term before, and laugh more. Humor's been under a. There's so many comedians that are scared to death
Yeah.
because it's all, they get hammered, and a lot of them don't go on college campuses anymore. This PC culture, but my stuff is clean. And even being clean, I've got some funny stories. I was speaking up in Minnesota a couple of years ago, and I thought it was a pretty funny story. Oh my gosh, two women. It was funny because I was talking about sitting in the choir, and I about am the choir. And my friend Deborah's a teacher, and she retired. And I asked her, I said, "Are you substitute teaching?" And she said, "Oh yeah, Sunday school class. I mean, in my little first grade class, I went there and I said, 'Boys and girls, I'm your substitute teacher.'" And one of the little kids ran to the reading lab and said, "Guess what? Our real teacher's sick today, but we got a prostitute teacher." Well, that was funny. But you get people that get weird, and I'm going, really? Just, to be honest, I heard Ricky Gervais on the Emmys the other night, and he just said, "I don't care. I'm going to say what I want to say." And he just let it go.
Yeah,
It was refreshing, to be honest.
exactly.
Hey, you know what's so funny, George? This is interesting. What do you think the number one show that young people watch on next flick is? Netflix. What do you think it is?
I have no clue.
The Office. The
Really?
Office.
Really?
The most politically incorrect show. Why? Because they can't do that.
Hmm.
So they laugh at Michael Scott, the crazy boss, Of course, it's coming off Netflix, but that is the number one thing that my children watch it and scream and reference it all the time. "Mommy, remember the episode, blah, blah, blah." So that tells you something.
Sure it does. Sure it does. We're too thin-skinned, uh, and too many people have been programmed to think what other people want them to think instead of thinking for themselves. Uh, and
True.
it's just so sad. Let me put these books back up here again, real quick. There, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, are the books. And there is Jane's website. And let me put this up here. Take this down. And as she said earlier, you can get it most anywhere, Walmart and all them good places, and Amazon and all those good places, and you can get it. What the ticker's saying down there on the bottom, you can get it right
Yeah.
there. So,
The Rhinestone and the Pearls book more so through places like gosh, Audible, um, rhinestones particularly you can get from all over, from anywhere. And you can order from, of course, everything's on Amazon. You know, Amazon is the place, I guess, to say. Brick and mortar stores don't know what to do with it. So until something's figured out, Amazon is a good resource.
Jane, but we had lots of time tonight. Uh,
Yeah, George, I'm so sorry about the
no,
beginning. Golly, I thought my computer was like, but nope, it went like that. But here we are.
no, 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 no. Listen, uh, I've always said, and on the radio, I've said it a million times because we were. This is what happens, when we're on the radio. You're live.
Is that my friend Nancy? Wait a minute. Let me see something. Hey, oh, Nancy, you're sweet. Thank you. Golly.
That's my bride of 51 years. Uh,
Look at that. 51.
yes,
I'm looking now. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Mwah. Blowing you a kiss, girl.
I always told her, if you ever leave me, I'm going with you. So we settled that a long time ago.
Yeah,
What was I?
I got me a good one too. I got me a real good one. We met on a Saturday night, didn't see him all week, and he asked me to marry him the next week, and I said yes. So I got me a good one almost 40 years ago.
All righty. That's longevity. It works. It really works.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
And I got a
it's
great son,
become.
Holmes. And that's I think for all those mothers out there, your children are on their timeline, not yours. So be patient and pray for him. I've got a son, and he's working home great, and I'm proud of him. But it took a little bit to get those wheels turning. So just want to throw that out there, not leave out my son.
Yes, some engines start slower than other engines. But once the engine gets started,
Yep, we got one of them.
yeah. So
Buckle your seatbelt.
yeah, once they get started, they really go. They go full tilt. Wow. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I had a professor tell me that one time, and I appreciated that. He said left lobe, right lobe, 21, 22, 23, 24. I said, hurry up, 25.
hope it all falls into place and comes together.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
I found it, and that honest, I'm not making fun. I'm not being disrespectful. But when things like this happen, like that happened to us in the beginning, I uh you know I'm not, my bubble isn't always in the center, uh, according to most folks, and probably according to myself. But when things anymore, when things like this happen, I kind of I start laughing from the beginning because I think of Murphy's law. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. Uh, we've been on the radio, uh, and live, and all of a sudden something goes all,
Boop.
yeah, all wrong and crooked, and
Mm-hmm.
we're on this end saying, what happened? And I could just picture the people on the other end saying, where'd they go? So I've, I, I've learned to take it as a grain of salt, uh, because it's all part of you. On Fox News the other night, they was interviewing somebody and they went away. They was interviewing by way of video, uh, and they went away. And even the
Mm-hmm.
top-notch producers out there have problems too. So, Jane, you were a soldier. You stayed with it. You kept at it, and we made it, and we did it. And listen, it's been a delightful show. I've had a lot of fun. I
Thank you,
really have.
George. It's been so fun, and thank you for you were so calm, and I was going, oh Lord help me. But I figured out when you said go on your phone, I said that's what we need to do. So thank you for your calm countenance. Help me. And I got in this office at probably 7 o'clock, And I had to drive from Greenville, which is a couple of hours. And I was just praying to get here with no deer jumping in front of the car. It's very woodsy. And I got here in such good time. And I checked everything, did my hair and makeup, got my chat light. And I'm going, no, don't tell me that. Well, you know what? Maybe it's just sweeter that we all went through it, and we lived our message in the first couple minutes, didn't we? We lived our message.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. You have,
Yes.
you have been a delightful guest, and I want you to come back in the future.
Oh yeah, and maybe I'll get a new computer.
All right. All right.
And we'll have to do a trial run.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we do a trial run the next time before we go live.
That's right.
But it was entertaining. We were entertaining to people. I'm sure we were. So, and
Oh, I know.
and we can laugh at ourselves and we can laugh at the situation now. But I thank you for your graciousness, taking time out of your busy schedule. Jane,
Well, it's been a joy too.
it's been a lot of fun. It's really been a lot of fun. I think we're going to get a tremendous amount of response from this because once we go off the air, it stays up on YouTube. It'll stay up on our the George Espinlove Show page on Facebook, and people just come. So people start your watch parties and share it, put it out there, and all those things that you do. Throw it out there in the cybersphere, however you say it. Throw it out there in space, and let's see what we can really do with it. Thank you so very, very much, Jane. Let's stay in contact.
Well, thank you, George.
Thank you, man.
God bless.
All righty. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a tremendous show we had tonight. So let me remind you that on Monday night, and Jane, by the way, we'll run the audio portion of this up on the radio show. So the people that aren't able to watch the videos, they can hear it on the radio. So it's on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all those other good places.
That's great, George. You're doing good, honey.
But on Monday night, we are going to have Ivor Davis with us. This man was and is, he's retired now, but he was an international reporter from England. He was at the crime scene on August 9th.
Oh, my.
Yes, he was there. And he reported on it all through the Manson trials. He saw the devastation. He saw the butchery. He saw all the things that took place, and he followed that. He's written several books, other books. This is the one that he has just written, and it's on the bestseller list already. Manson Exposed, a reporter's 50-year journey into madness and murder. His life was threatened. He covered the truth. He traveled with the Beatles for a while. He was their own reporter man. He's written a book.
Wow.
So Ivor is going to be with us Monday night at 8 p.m. And he's going to talk. Many people have no idea what happened back in August of 1969. It was some bad times back then, wasn't it, Jane? It was some bad.
Oh, my goodness. I remember well. Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Well, who was she? Was married to Roman Polanski? Is that right?
Polanski.
That was horrid. Yeah.
And
I was awful.
He will be talking about a lot of the actors and actresses that were to be at that house that night that for some reason or another wasn't there. Steve McQueen, several others. But
oh my gosh,
it's going to be an interesting show. So Monday night we'll have Ivor with us, and wow, it ought to put us all on the edge of our seat. So with that,
I'm going to listen to that. That's good.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, good night, Jane.
Good night.
And friends, Romans, and countrymen, thank you for spending time with us. And I will see you later. My prayer is that God will keep you right in the center of his hand. Good night, everybody.